Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Katia Figueiredo. I'm happy to welcome you today on one of the Innobuyer Open Market Consultation events. And today, Olsztyn Hospital takes the center stage with its challenge that is called Safe-stay. We are going to start this session with a warm welcome from Bertrand Vert, who will be setting the stage for an exciting hour of innovation exploration. And then you will gain some insights into the Innobuyer program, the driving force that is powered by the European Innovation Council and fuels organizational growth. So Marcin Couch will present the Olsztyn Hospital pressing challenge that requires an innovation solution. And obviously, this is an open market consultation event, so your participation, the attendees' participation is very welcome. So you are more than welcome to engage with all the speakers when we get to the Q&A part of this event. And you will have two different ways to participate in the discussion when we get to that part. So you can either raise your hand and we will give you the possibility to unmute yourself. Or if you prefer, you can simply use the Q&A box and write there your questions, your comments, your remarks to what is being discussed. One final practicality, this event is being recorded for dissemination purposes here in the scope of the Innobuyer project. So without any further ado, I would like to introduce you Bertrand Vert from the European Innovation Council to share a few words about today's event.
Yeah, very good morning, Katia, and very good morning to everyone here being in a meeting with us and the one that also follow online or that will actually view this open market consultation in the next days. Yeah, this is a really great pleasure to be here today and to launch this initiative, this open market consultation. Also because we have very special guests here with us. We have actually people working on the ground for our public services, and one of the most important, as we've seen in the last years, public services, supporting citizens here from a very nice region in north east Poland, Mazuria region. And it's really a pleasure to have the Hospital of Olsztyn with us and all the colleagues working within the hospital. So we are proud at the European Innovation Council to be able to launch these kind of initiatives in relation to innovation procurement. Indeed, innovation procurement is key for us, the European Commission as a whole, and notably more precisely for the European Innovation Council. Why? Why this is very important? This is important from our point of view for two main reasons. First, because it helps us to actually achieve one of our main goals, which is to support the companies, the SMEs and the startups that we are actually supporting financially to innovate. We are supporting currently something like 5,000 SMEs and startups from all around Europe via grants or via equity. We are taking share in these companies for them to develop innovative solutions in very various sectors. And we are also very happy to be engaged in innovation procurement because if it can help the SMEs to find actually potential first clients, to find procurer buyers, they can be public in this case or private also. This is key for them to be able to find these potential clients. It's also very important on another aspect, a second aspect, which is that in the same time, supporting innovation procurement give us the possibility to help procurers, in this case a public procurer, public hospital, to buy innovative solutions. innovative solutions that will be delivering a better way to work in the services of the hospitals, having the top-notch devices, top-notch services, or top-notch solutions for the workers of the hospital, but also it's very important indeed for the people coming to the hospital or being taken care by the hospital in order to have indeed better treatments and better experience within or outside of the hospital. So you can see that with innovation procurement, we can indeed deliver both potentially aspects, supporting on one side the companies, the European companies, and on the other side, the European public buyers. Indeed, just for us to keep in mind that this public procurement represents a tremendous potential lever of action, because overall, and only talking about public procurement, all the procurement made annually in Europe do represent something like 15% of the European GDP. In other words, it's something like 2,000 to 3,000 billion euro. So it's a tremendous budget. So we can dream, and not only dream, but we can also act in order to be able to gear this public investment, this public procurement towards more innovative solutions. So that's the idea between these 15 challenges that the InnoBuyer consortium, led by F6S, together with TIC Biomed and Civitas, are leading. They are leading these, or they launched this call for 15 challenges, and amongst these 15 challenges, we do have the challenge coming from the hospital of Olsztyn. So we are very eager to see how in the next month, following this presentation made by the Olsztyn Hospital explaining their challenge, how the companies, and we hope so the EAC companies, but also other companies around Europe, will be able to answer, to propose a potential answer to the needs, to the challenge that the teams of Olsztyn Hospital actually brought us today. So I really wish you all the very best, colleagues, notably Marcin and all the colleagues in Olsztyn Hospital, to co-create in the best way in a second time with the companies that will come to you. Thank you very much, Katia.
Thank you,
Floor
Bertrand.
back to you. Thank you.
Thank you. So before we move to the challenge presentation, what you are waiting for, let me just give a few more words about what is InnoBuyer. So InnoBuyer is a 3-year project funded by the European Union via the European Innovation Council. And as Bertrand was just explaining, it is implemented by 3 different organizations, so F6S, Civita, and TIC Biomed. And in a nutshell, we can say that InnoBuyer brings together private and public organizations that we call the challengers with the innovative SMEs that we call solvers. And jointly, they co-create innovative solutions. So in 4 sequential steps, InnoBuyer helps these organizations to first identify and describe their unmet innovation needs. Second step, to find and connect them with innovation suppliers, to then co-create pilots, and finally InnoBuyer helps legal support to prepare a tender to purchase the solutions that were co-created in this process. So as you can see, there is funding support that is associated to each one of these 4 actions. Up until now, as Bertrand was just explaining, we have been working with a selection of 15 challengers and supporting them to improve the description of their unmet innovation needs. And we are currently in the 2nd phase of the program, where we are helping the challengers to connect with innovation providers in activities such as this open market consultation event. Innovation providers will be able to propose solutions to the buyer challenges that we have by applying to a call for solvers that will be launched later on in this month of October. And the selected applicants can get up to 58.k to co-create a pilot with the challenger in a 10-month period. So stay tuned to learn about when the call for solvers is launched by following one or more of the InnoBuyer channels, and this way you make sure to know as soon as the call is open for you to propose your solution. So let's now move to the most interesting part of this event, what you are waiting for. So I would like to introduce Marcin Couch that will present the Olsztyn Hospital Challenge. So Marcin, the floor is yours. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Katia. I hope that you can hear me all right. Let me share my screen. Let me know, can you see it? Yeah, all right. I represent here the Wojewódzki Szpital Specjalistyczny w Olsztynie. Don't try to pronounce that home. This is Polish. This is the second most difficult language. Basically, this is Olsztyn Hospital, which will be more easy. And our problem that we want to solve is the safe stay or safe arrival to the hospital for the patients who have some problems with their mobility or visitors that have problems with mobility. The Olsztyn Hospital is by far the largest in the region. We serve to the whole province of Warmia and Mazury. So we have some 700 beds. I can see here the number of patients that we serve. We have quite specialized specialties of wards like cardiac surgery and other. So we are the leader in the region. Here you can see just one of the hospital buildings because we have a few. This is the main hospital building. The problem that we have faced in Poland is that we spend very little money on healthcare. I think everybody can say that they spend too little money on healthcare, but there's no special funds or services that would help people or assist people that arrive to hospital to get into it. So people, especially patients who come for instance, for outpatient visits or for some rehabilitation session or for a diagnosis session, they get out of the car, they get out of the bus or something, and then they need to go into the hospital. And so if they have mobility problems, then there's a challenge, because what usually happens is if they don't bring their own wheelchair, they are seeking the nurse or some other personnel to assist with that. So our nurses are being taken away from the things that they are doing. They need to find a wheelchair. They want to get it. They need to to go to the patient, and they need to put the wheelchair back to where they taken it from. So all in all, it's quite disruptive. Of course, we know that we need to help people. We know that it's one of our duties, but it is very disruptive with what they usually do, and pretty stressful. I use the word wheelchair here because this is the solution that we know, but we are open to any other solution. So maybe I should say every time not a wheelchair, but a solution, but for the better understanding of the way that we perceive that the solution, that will be either a wheelchair or a walker, a walking assistant, you name it. Maybe you also invent the flying carpets that could be used. We don't know, but basically wheelchair is just a word. Don't get just, if you have other solution, we are happy to consider that. As far as the numbers are concerned, we have quite many patients that come to our hospitals. If they are to be hospitalized, then we know that they arrive, we are somehow prepared. But for outpatient visits, for visiting the patients in the hospital, we are not sure then when people come, whether they need or don't need the help. So we, but we can estimate that this is quite a big number of people that arrive and have this problem. So we need some sort of a assistance, some sort of a solution that would help these people to move into the hospital. If we look at numbers, we can say that this hospitalized patient is of let's say lesser importance from perspective of this project, because as I said, we know that we are coming, so we can somehow prepare to that. But for these two other columns, for the patients using the diagnostic services or outpatient clinics, there are people that come at any time, and we don't know where they are coming. And we assume that some 10% of the first group and 20% of the second group needs some sort of assistance. So all in all, we are talking about 150 users of that solution every day. Our goals for this project is to improve the comfort of patients' stay, or let's say arrival and stay at the hospitals, and somehow to facilitate this stay, make it easier for them, make it easier for us. Also, we very care about the provision of a sense of independence. So we don't want patients to be frustrated, to feel dependent on us. We want them to feel like, okay, I arrived to hospitals, I have a way to move into it, I'm independent, maybe I need assistance from my friend or a colleague or a family member who came and pushes the wheelchair. We are taking to wheelchairs, but we believe that this is important. That's why it's in different color. We want patients to feel, feel independent and having their own dignity. We want also to improve the level of satisfaction of our staff, so they won't be taken away from their everyday activities. And again, we can say that we should help them, but we would like to help only in the cases when the help is absolutely needed. We want our patients to move freely and independently from us. By improving this satisfaction level, we believe we also are able to improve the efficiency, because these people will be doing what they should be doing, not running around the hospital and chasing the wheelchair. And of course, we hope that if the solution works, it is also somehow contribute to the image of the hospital as a barrier-free place that we also care much about. In our understanding, the requirement that we can set for the companies who are willing and able to provide a solution, we think that the solution, the wheelchair solution, we need to occupy as little space as possible. This is not just our case in all hospitals worldwide. That we are also fighting, about the space. That we have new equipment, we have new patients, new something. So the room in the hospital, space in the hospitals is very valuable. So we, for instance, need this wheelchair to occupy as little space as possible. For instance, they could be stacked. As this solution will be used outside of the hospital, or on the hospital ground, but outside of the hospital, and will be given to people, so we need some sort of anti-theft detection. I don't know whether it's a sound alarm or else a locator. Anyway, the system that will let us know whether something wrong is going with this, is happening with this wheelchair. We don't want to lose our wheelchairs, after day one. As these will be used outside of the hospitals as well, so they need something that will be weather resistant. As this is the case of hospitals, so we need them to be easy to disinfect. They should be functional. As far as the place when they will be stored outside of the hospitals, there needs to be some sort of a roof, so it's at least protect from some rain and snow. And we can imagine that they should carry up to, let's say, some 200 kilograms. We have problems with patients. Some of them are obese. Obesity is a global problem. So we say that it would be safe for them if this solution could carry the load of some 200 kilograms. What we can see from our perspective, and how we perceive that, what we can envisage is that we will, of course, designate an area, so the solution could be placed outside of the hospital. We will appoint a person who will be some sort of, let's say, the liaison officer, the liaison person with the contractor. We will also, in the meantime, verify and provide you with the exact number of people that need that sort of solution. I just give you some rough estimate, like 10%, 30%. So we'll do that prior to the contract. We will also provide a person that will be taking care of the solution at the end of the day, so they'll see that everything is okay, they'll lock it somehow. We will conduct the patient and personnel and visitors satisfaction survey prior to the pilot, and also during or just after the pilot, to see whether this solution was working or not. We also are involving other people from our regions. For instance, yesterday we announced it in the conference that we held here in Olsztyn, and some hospitals said that they are interested. Actually, one of the participants, hello Anya, are with us at the moment. So this is something that we think is just beyond what we do. This is not just us and that's it. Other people are also interested, and we will do our best also to disseminate information about the project, share our experience with our neighbors and hospitals in our network. Time-wise, we see that we hope that we can do it in the following way. So let's say up till February, we need to sign a contract. Then between, let's say, February and May, more or less, we will work with the challenger, with the solver, in developing a solution that will be applied here. Then we'll have the surveys that I mentioned, that we hope in June, September to have this pilot project, so we will see how it really works. Then we will again have the satisfaction survey, or in the meantime satisfaction survey, and hopefully we can have it finalized at the end of the year, more or less November. How we perceive what the solution should be like, and how we think that what is our understanding of it, but again, we are open to other suggestions. So there's the solution that we are going to acquire will have some sort of a roof protection from sun and rain and snow. We want to have at least 5 pieces of equipment, let's say wheelchair equipment solution. We need this to be, we need information about that, at least in Polish. We have some Ukrainian refugees also in Poland, and people who migrate to Poland prior to war. So at least in Polish, and if there's something in Ukrainian, I think that would be beneficial. Of course, we need to inform our patients this is a pilot project, so they are aware that we are still testing that, so they don't take it like, this is all proved, we can use it and it's safe. They should be aware that we are still testing. We hope it's safe, but they should be aware that we will be testing that. There should be a system that will enable us to locate the position of the wheelchair. There should be this anti-theft lock that I mentioned, and the system that will monitor the number of users. So we can imagine that this wheelchair solution will have some sort of a meter that will tell us, how it is used, how many minutes, how many times per day, etc., etc. We had some problems. I have to say that we have some problems defining KPI, because what we see that's most important is the level of satisfaction, the ease to use. Sometimes it will be pretty hard to measure certain things. So we assume that due to after this pilot process, at least 30%, the satisfaction level of patients and personnel will raise at least 30%. Other KPIs that we can think of is like there's no theft, so the system will be really working, no accidents, and then there's also be the reduced assistance that is provided by our staff. We are not able to say how what it is in the moment. We need to do the research on that, but that's something that we promise to do. So we'll make a survey among our most nurses to ask them how much time they spend every day on things like that, and this needs to be reduced, and we can agree with the potential solver, what the level it's achievable. If there's any other benefits, something else that you could provide, then also be welcomed, and will be something that we hope to see. We believe that this is not just us. As I said, we already talked to some hospitals, and they were pretty thrilled. They wanted to learn something about that. So it's not just us, but there's also other hospitals in our region and basically in Poland, basically in Europe, that could be interested in such a solution. It's also not only hospitals, so if the solution works, it could be probably also used by other public services, like I don't know, the city offices, all sort of public services that where there's a lot of visitors every day, and probably also for very commercial market purposes, like if you have the shopping mall. Well, you may offer this solution to shopping malls. Everybody should ask it to work with shopping malls as well. As far as the numbers are concerned, in our province, there's some hospitals and other facilities that may need to have such a solution. We have 17 social security offices, TikTok offices, there are municipalities. So we believe that this market for this solution is far beyond just our hospitals with 700 beds. And that's the presentation part. We have some questions to potential solvers, but I wonder, Katja, whether I should just present them, or what are they clear enough, or shall we open the room for consultation? We are open to any of these solutions.
Yes, so as Marcin is saying, we are now reaching the Q&A part of this event, the part where we want you, the attendees, to join the discussion, to provide your comments to the challenge that Marcin has been presenting, to ask some clarification on something that is not totally clear to you, to ask questions about things that weren't mentioned so far. So this is the moment for you, the attendees, to join us here in this discussion, and you can do this in two different ways. So if you prefer to speak, if you would like to speak, and we of course encourage you to do it, you just need to raise your hand, and I will give you the possibility to unmute yourself and ask your questions. If you prefer to just send your questions, your feedback in written form, you can also do that in the Q&A box that we have here, and we will read and answer your questions. So we are bringing to the discussion more people now that we have here. So from the Olsztyn Hospital, we also have here Stasha, Anna, and Beata that are joining us, as well as Aline, who from TIC Biomed, who has been working closely with this challenger. So maybe Marcin, you could very briefly present the sort of questions that you would like to discuss with the attendees, the ones that we have here.
All right. So we already had some experience in innovative procurement, so we hope we are not just we are not that vulnerable, though we realize that this is something new for us too, and especially the topic is new for us. So as I mentioned, we presented it in a way that we perceive that, and we are very pleased and happy to discuss that. We are very happy, to see other points of view. So the question that you can see on the screen is, I would say, are pretty basic and pretty obvious from our perspective, which is like, are there any questions concerning to what we said? Yes, no. Anyone knows a solution that can solve this problem? Maybe they see that they are already available on the market, and we just don't know that they are there. If you have some other ideas, if you think that this is a good idea, can you perceive some barriers that we missed to check and see that would make it happen? So all sort of questions and voices are very precious for us. We are eager to listen and chew on them.
And other comments that the attendees may have that can be useful to better discuss this challenge. So I don't see any hand raised so far, but we do have two questions in written form. Yeah, Marcia, do you want to add something?
No, I just said that I also saw that there are two questions in the chat box.
So the first question that we have here is, are there any existing technologies or systems in place for tracking equipment like wheelchairs?
To our knowledge, and something that we know that exists, well, this is the GPS system, right? So you can imagine that you introduce the GPS system. We know that within the buildings, that is something called RFDI or RDFI. This is a system with a Bluetooth that can, tell you what the object works. But we don't know how it works outside of the building, because it needs to have some sort of the checkpoints when they can, detectors that you can see that you are there. So if we use this RFDIs, then probably the extra set of meters, the detectors should be installed. But maybe this is just like a standard GPS that can be used. I don't know how the GPS works on a very limited space, because we are not talking of traveling from, let's say, Warsaw to Barcelona, but we are talking within a meter. Okay, so we don't know whether the GPS system would work. And we are simply not aware. We seek answers to this question.
Do you have an idea of the area that may have to be covered outside the building, the maximum area?
Right. So as I said, the hospital is pretty big. So I think that with the potential solar, we will have to think of what is feasible and what is economically effective, because the campus is pretty big. Maybe we should just limit the area that I'm talking about to, let's say, certain designated places. For instance, if you want to come to the hospital and use that, you can only, let's say, park in this very space, and then it will take you, let's say, I don't know, 100 meters to get into the hospital door, or 20 meters, etc., etc. So we are talking about a campus that is all in all, I would say 1,000 square meters big, something like that, more or less. But we will measure that and provide you, because we still don't have the answer to the question.
So another question that we have here, can the solution be implemented to your current wheelchairs, or are you looking for brand new foldable and trackable wheelchairs?
In our opinion, this should be something new for a number of reasons. One is that the one that we have, are being used for some time. So we would like to have something brand new. This is one. The second, we are afraid that installing this, let's say, head detector could be a bit difficult if you have a solution that is quite old, and then they need to be weather resistant. So we don't think that if put it away out of the hospital building, there'll be rain or something like that. The heat, the low temperature, that it will last long. So from that perspective, we would rather have something brand new instead of trying to. I mean, Aaron made a quite reasonable question. Can we do that? But we think that this is not a solution that would last.
Okay. One more question. What would be the desired price ceiling per wheelchair?
Ladies, have you thought about it already? Okay, so Anya will answer that question.
So we thought about kind of cost we can bear with, like for the set. So set would be the stand and 5 wheelchairs with the kind of anti-theft lock and GPS. We thought about 3,500 euro per set, like that, 5 wheelchairs. We don't know exactly how much we would need yet. That's kind of depends on how well that goes, on the pilot, because we have few entrances to hospital and to kind of outpatient clinic. So we thought about maybe 5 stands like that with 5 wheelchairs each. But that might be more or less, depends on, how the pilot goes. So that's kind of open, really.
Thank you, Ania.
If I may I comment on that?
Of course.
Yes. So as Ania mentioned, this is the pilot. So for the pilot, the solution is priced differently compared to the final solution. And as Ania mentioned, this is quite a big hospital. We cannot just finally use it in like one place, because there's a lot of entrances to the hospitals. There are different services that we provide. So some people, may wish it would be easier probably for them to use the shortest way from point A to B, instead of driving all around through the hospitals back and forth. So we would like to make this travel distances as short as possible. So for now, 5, let's test how it works. And if it works, then more than that. And then I think that we can negotiate on the price that is different for the bigger volume of purchase.
Okay. One more question. How many wheelchairs does the hospital currently have?
Ladies, are we able to? Okay.
So we do have some wheelchairs, but they for internal use. So at the moment, we don't really have any wheelchairs which will be used for patients outside. So anytime someone come to hospital, they seek for help, from the kind of staff on reception or whoever they can meet on the way, and looking for someone who will bring them a wheelchair, let's say from emergency department. So the wheelchairs we have, we do have them, but they are actually assigned to the, internal use in the hospital. So they're not freely, accessible for everyone who are coming to hospital. So that's the point of that project, just to give people, free access to wheelchairs when they arrive, so they can actually manage themselves. They don't need to, involve like personnel, and they feel as well they can actually, go where they need to go, or they manage themselves. So that's the whole point of it. So we don't really want to use the wheelchairs we have in the hospital for this purpose.
Okay. Thank you, Ania. One comment that we have here. Okay, but now, so the comment was written before Ania explaining this. So the attendee is saying that this comment may not make
Katia?
Yes.
Katia?
Mm-hmm.
I would strongly disagree. I think that it's a very relevant question.
But
It's okay.
1, 2, 3.
I will.
Okay.
I will read the comment. So the person is saying, why not just add a page or a button in your home page, if you have one, where patients can book the wheelchair in advance and get it upon arrival. So this way the patient can also note whether they need medical personnel to assist them. And in this way, you know what happens with your current wheelchair stock, and your staff can manage their time more efficiently.
Okay, and now I'm trying to, I will say why this is very relevant, okay? Because I think that in essence, thank you for this question. You brought a wider perspective, and also thought about, introducing something that is not just wheelchairs doing something, but the whole system. For instance, when we were thinking initially about that, we had a dream of like, okay, let's make it for commercial purposes. Let's have the system that when the patient would like to use a wheelchair, he or she will have to, I don't know, stick their credit card, so we know that who the person is. We can charge this person if something goes wrong with that. We know exactly, when it was taken, etc., etc. So I would say that there's a lot of things that are possible here. We were suggested by the InnoBio group that we should, at least at the beginning, to limit our dreams Okay, so we said let's make it very simple, because if it's too complicated, if it's too expensive, then nobody is going to provide you a solution. And we agree with that. That's a very reasonable point of view. Though we had those dreams, we were thinking about let's make it like a really big thing. Let's let's add this credit card. Let's add all of different things that can work here. Maybe there's something that Inez described, which is some sort of schedule. Maybe we can hire an extra person that will be carrying these people around. And so I presented you like the minimum of what we would like to have, but we have dreams. So if you can provide us with any other ideas, suggestions that you just made, yes, let's talk about that, because that's something that we think that will make it really useful and very innovative. Because we just don't want to have next set of wheelchairs. We want to have a solution for the problem of the patient arrives and what happens then. Okay, so yeah, we're happy to take this question, and we're happy to to start this discussion of making this project bigger compared to what I just presented. Thank you.
Thank you. So I don't see any hand raised to speak, neither any other questions. We still have a few more minutes, so if you want to add something more, you still have the opportunity to do it. In the meantime, I will maybe invite Aline to join the discussion. Something that you would like to comment, to ask further details?
Yeah, I've got two short questions. Marcin, so it's a bit related to the question before. Do you imagine that ideal solution to be integrated with the hospital system or EHR? Is there a link there?
I would say that this is the dream, and I think the end point, in the sense that we started something. And we realized that solutions usually don't work as a standalone thing. So we need a system. So we want to integrate this into the hospital. It's not separate from the hospital. It's a part of what we do. So we need to do it in a way that it fits to what we do, or maybe it will affect the way we do things. So we should perceive it as something that is not, okay, we will buy it and we will forget about it. Or we will buy it, and then we have to manage the whole thing. We have to understand how it affects the way we work. Maybe if we improve the efficiency, what can do else with that? So yes, it is not just tell us some wheelchairs. No, this is provide us with a solution that will change the way we do things.
Thank you. And maybe another short question. So you said that you would like to be able to track the wheelchairs, and also to be able to know how many patients are using those chairs or devices every day. Do you imagine that to be real-time tracking, or can it be just asynchronous? You want a summary at the end of the month or at the end of the day?
As this needs to be tracked to see where it is. I mean, if somebody takes it from the premises of the hospitals, we have the alarm. So I think that the real-time tracking is in our understanding, is one of the conditions. However, maybe somebody will tell us you don't need that. Just we will make sure that nobody steals that, and that will be sufficient. So we are also open to the solution that is proposed. If there's for instance, that there's a real track of, I don't know, 10 times more that a different solution, and the different solution is also good, that we wouldn't like to spend 10 times more on that.
I can also ask something. So I believe you mentioned 5 wheelchairs involved in the pilot, if I'm not mistaken, and 1 person from your side having an active participation in the pilot phase. Do you have an idea of how many people do you foresee involved in the pilot?
I think I didn't make it clear. What we said is that there will be like a liaison person who will link, on everyday contact, the solver and the challenger. So there will be like one person, so the contact persons, and he or she will be responsible for, for making it work. The team will consist of at least like 5-6 people that I can think about now. Of course, if there's a need to add somebody from our side, I know our technical guys, either construction people, whatever, we will provide that. So one person to always at the problem you can call her or him, and the whole team will be much bigger than that. And I think there was like second part of the questions I didn't answer. Oh, I answered that?
Yes, you answered.
All right.
So I'm checking if there are any other questions or hands raised. I don't see any. Everything seems to be very clear as we have no additional questions. In any case, let me tell the attendees that the discussion doesn't end here. The discussion won't end when we close this event. If you have questions later on, or if you are seeing the recording of this session and therefore you cannot ask them live, you will still have the possibility to provide us your comments, provide us your questions via the F6S event page that you use to register for this event. There is a section called discussion, and that part is open to anyone who wishes to go there to ask questions, provide the comments, and the information that is published there is available for everyone to see. So the discussion won't end by the end of this session. I don't see any other pending questions or comments from the panel that we have here. Any final comments you would like to add, or something that we would really like to stress, to highlight how important it is for you? If not, we can simply move to the end of the session, but I would just like to give you this opportunity in case you would like to add something. No? Okay. Okay, then. So in that case, we can proceed. And we can move on. So we are now reaching the end of this session. I would like to thank everyone from the Olsztyn Hospital for joining us here. Aline, Bertrand, thank you so much to all of you. And of course, thank you to the attendees following this discussion and asking questions, sending their comments. They were very much appreciated. Just a few reminders before we close. As we said, the conversation doesn't end here. There is the discussion page at F6S that we can keep using for additional questions, additional comments. You are welcome to use it. As we said, we have a call for solvers, so a call for innovation suppliers coming up this month. So stay tuned so that you don't miss the announcement of the calls. Follow InnoBuyer through one of the communication channels that you see here. So website, newsletter, social media, all the information will be shared via these channels. And so if you are following them, you will not miss the announcement of the call for solvers and your opportunity to tackle this challenge that was now today presented by Marcin, as well as other challengers that we have that will be part of this call. So that's all for now. Thank you once again to everyone for joining us, and have a nice day.